So Trout Snipers is the name of as an independent contractor, the name of my business. I teach people about fly fishing in a one-on-one scenario, um, where a lot of the fly fishing schools that are offered throughout, you know, throughout history are in a group setting where there's 12 people in the school and you get taught this sort of normal thing like do this, do, step one, step two, and it's very generic. And I thought it would be interesting to offer the one-on-one instruction. And I have a lot of experience with spay fishing, um, you know, dry fly fishing, bobber fishing, streamer fishing, lots of different techniques. And I can kind of meet the people where they are in their process. Some people, have gone to these schools where there's multiple people, and I feel like they leave a little bit of the closing the circle a little bit. And so that's sort of where I fit into the mix. And I will take someone and design for them if they're coming to town for, a week or whatever. I can design for them a custom itinerary based on what they tell me. So they can say, I want to learn more about this, or I want to learn more about everything, whatever it is. Doesn't have to be flow fishing. It can be instruction, in the park for actually refining your casting. It can be about swinging flies. It can be about lots of different things. So that's sort of what Trout Snipers does, is designs those type of experiences for people on a 1 to 5 days type of deal. And I just do one person at a time, no cell phones, no nothing, like actually really like learning, where you're actually paying attention, you're actually focused in, and you're actually engaged in the experience, not just me telling you what to do and then you do it over and over and you never really learn. It's actually you doing it and me helping you do it so you remember. Knots, flies, there's lots of stuff to learn. So it's a way for people to, kind of bust through the learning curve of what's available out there in different schools, and not really having the ability to really go one-on-one with somebody who can actually teach them and actually get them to absorb it.
And this is kind of just this is custom designed to how long they're in town and what they want to learn and
Yeah.
what they
I use
specifically want to do.
actually use AI
Okay.
and I'll be like, here's the person's schedule. It's crazy. And,
Yep.
to put it in there, and here's what they want to learn. And here's the progression of that. And I put it in to AI, and I say, generate me a schedule based on these parameters, and it'll spit it out. And then we just like go to town and go through the process. And it's half days, the minimum.
Yep.
Um, but up to, full day. So you can do some instruction, some actual fishing, which a lot of schools lack.
Yep.
They just take you out and, teach you technique, but not no application of that technique.
I've seen them when I've like driven by places and there'll be like 10 or 12 of them and they're all.
Yeah. Doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, and that's part of it, don't get me wrong, but it's, to put that together with the technique, with the application of technique, is where people, I think, lose a little bit of effectiveness.
Yeah. That's cool. We'll see if we can wrangle some more people that want
Let's
to
go.
come help you
I'm ready.
sustain your.
My tolerance for
Yeah.
humanity.
Any other hot tips for fishing, or anyone that wants to fish in Southwest Montana?
Hire a fishing guide. Yeah. And trust the fishing guide, right? If they're not out there, just, well, maybe some are, but fishing guides generally, they want to catch fish worse than you. Trust me. They fish through you. Just trust what they're doing. Trust the process, right? Process over the prize. That's what I say.
Hi, folks. Quick note from me. If you don't already know, the goal of Mountain Mule Media is to build real connection between Montana's businesses and the people they serve. If this episode or any other has given you something worth thinking about, smiling at, or passing along, I've got a small ask. Share it with a friend, text it to someone, post it in your story. That one simple action helps these businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this show keep going. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. Now back to the show.
I don't know how to segue into this, but it's been an interesting summer. And I worked more this summer, probably twice as much than I did last summer. And my original plan was to just do it part time. And that's pretty much what I'm doing now, like to capacity. But people always ask me, why did you start fish guiding again? And I tell them it's to build my, the sustainability of my tolerance of humans. That's why I started doing it again, and it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine if you're stuck on a drift boat with a varying degree of different people.
It's amazing.
How many days were you on the water this year?
I mean, some weeks 5 days. I never work on the weekends. I did work one Saturday, but 3 to 5 days a week, something like that. And that's it's enough. I mean, physically it's good. And the mental part of it is good for me to keep me, always sort of striving to be better at that. I'm not the best person. I have like the lowest tolerance for humans. And I try to get more tolerant of humans, but it's like it can only be kicked in the teeth so many times before you start like putting up the dukes and saying enough is enough. So
what's the most amount of guys you can take in your drift boat at once?
2.
Okay.
Yeah. Prefer 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I do enjoy instruction and helping people get through that, first, like the curve, right? And there is a strange phenomenon that takes place. It's sort of like this, it's sort of a process of you telling them what to do. Okay, they don't believe you at first. They don't trust you. They don't anything. And then I have a saying that says, trust the process and the prize will show up. And I keep telling them, I'm like, process. And they're like getting more and more ratcheted with their own expectations and their own sort of anticipation. It's crazy. I mean, to manage it, it's like people get worked up. And I tell them, well, you're not following the process. You're just looking for the prize. And they're like, yeah, but this and then they're arguing with me. And I said, just do the process. Yeah, blah, 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 process. And as soon as they calm down and just start actually doing it right, same thing happened to you pretty much. You sort of, after we calm down a little bit, then, oh, I got him. Okay. Now it's like you start trusting what I'm saying and you sort of believe that there will be another one, and they think, oh my God, there's only one, or there's all kinds of stuff that they think. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. I don't know if this was an advantage, but I had no expectation prior. I just
Yeah.
I've just had no expectation.
You had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. And then you're kind of showing me and I'm like, okay, I was just starting to put everything was starting to link together.
Yeah.
After our first couple hours.
Yeah. You were up all night that night.
Oh yeah, I was up. Yeah. I had a late night. I had like
4
or 5 hours of sleep. You're right. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You were not,
yeah, that made it kind of brutal. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You weren't processing things the best way. It was funny. I was kind of wondering, I'm like, what's going on with Tim? And then
you're like, I don't know him that well. He might not be all right.
Yeah. And then when you told me you had to go to you were in Ennis at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I had to pick up at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you went to the gym too. Something like
that.
I
don't even know if I made it to the gym by the time I got back. We might have packed my lunch and hopped in the boat with you.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the process. And I work for an outfitter, Freestone Fly Fishing Outfitters, Greg Bricker, who's been doing it for multiple decades. He's kind of a local legend around here. There's a few of these guys that have multiple decades of experience, and it's been fun working for him because usually I'm on the other side.
Hmm.
you know, but had to kind of learn a bunch of new things about fishing around here and how to access the fish. And it's not really uh, not as normal as some fishing experiences that I've had. There's some definite insider trading tricks and techniques going on that, there is some normal stuff too, but yeah, it's good to have a spectrum of tools in your box.
When you say insider trading, what do you mean?
It's like it's just like proprietary information, right?
Hmm.
That um
So you're saying the whole
could be
fishing?
flies, could be technique, could be location, could be um colors, you know,
I just think corruption when you say insider trading.
it is corruption. It's trout, yeah, fly fishing corruption.
Yeah.
It's no, I mean it's a knowledge, a bank of knowledge that um has been built up over the years. And Greg's at the pinnacle of that bank of knowledge, and he has like this crazy photographic, almost like Rain Man memory, where he'll be like, "Oh yeah, in 1984, I was fishing with this fly with this person right here on this corner, and they caught a 24 and a half-inch brown trout right here." Like he knows that stuff. They don't know the weather that day. He'll say it was cloudy. It was this. I mean, it's just weird how
Is
much
he obsessed?
he is. He's obsessed with production.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is he's driven individual in that category for sure. Which that's where my respect from him comes from. He doesn't ever take no for an answer from the trouts. He's gonna figure it out. That's pretty impressive. Sometimes it's like, especially on the Yellowstone, it can be rough. You go there yesterday, completely smoked them. You go through today, maybe there's a boat ahead of you or two boats ahead of you that you didn't really, see at a boat ramp, and you kind of get jumped halfway, and changes there's so many variables that it can be. There's a lot of stuff to manage in a day of guided fishing. It's a lot.
Are guys always shooting to be the first one on the water in the morning?
No.
There's no advantage to that.
Uh there can be. Just depends on what's going on the river. Sometimes the access to the fish is sort of like widespread throughout the morning, afternoon, you know, evening. Sometimes it's not. Depends on what flies are, what
Hmm.
the fish are eating and when that food source is available. Like I said, there's a quadzillion different variables, and to you it's like, let's go fishing. To me it's like a complex math problem that you got to piece together every day. All the variables strung together equals fish.
Yeah. See, all thought as well. If you're all going to try to hit the same fishing, same holes going through, is it just a?
Well, like yesterday, or this was 3 days ago, I was floating behind another guide, and I watched him go through a spot. He was pretty close to me, and didn't catch a fish. And I went through behind him. I could still see him, and we did catch a fish in the exact same spot that he just floated through. And that told me he wasn't using the right fly, so he was what's called an NTA, a non-threatening angler. So he went to NTA status, and I could chill. Now, if that guy went through and ganked a big one, then I knew that basically every spot that I'd be trying to find a fish in, doesn't mean there's one fish in there, but it's definitely if there's fish in there and he's aggressive, he's coming. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
feeding aggressively. Those are the easiest ones to catch, right? It's like put it in there, boom, he wants it. And so yeah, he was NTA status, and I could chill out and fish behind him, no problem. So there's a lot of that stuff.
And how long has Greg been in this area?
I think 25 years, something like that. He's also from Western PA like me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And because you were in Colorado. How long were you there for?
I was in Colorado for 30 years.
And is that drastically different than fishing here?
It is. It is because it's like I say here there's much more available resource. You know, 5 rivers just in southwest Montana right here with Jefferson, Missouri, Madison, Yellowstone, um, and the
Gallatin.
Gallatin, yeah. So 5 different rivers offering a variety of different opportunities, techniques, times of year. You got irrigation stuff, you got rain, you got runoff, you have, there's just different cycles and then different hatches happen on different rivers at different times. And you're always trying to basically meet the opportunity, the timing of the opportunity. Because when it's not happening, it can be like ghost town, fish are not feeding, you're out, you get nothing. Versus Colorado, which is more like an alignment, daily alignment of what they are eating. And you basically have a smaller thing to analyze with just a couple of rivers. And generally, one fishes well for a while and then that kind of dies down. Then everyone moves to the next one. So it's a lot less variables to manage than here. And it changes here where it's like, sort of one thing will be happening and then maybe that's dying off a little bit, but all of a sudden it rains and this other opportunity pops up and it's just constant weather apps, constant river flows, constant knowledge of when things are happening. And there's no there is no Southwest Montana trout fishing mafia network to call and say, hey, what's my best opportunity? It's, basically got to go when you have the right information, go check it out and hold your breath till you get there. And hopefully it works out. That's what it is.
So seasonally, is there really an ideal time, or is it just your preference of the weather? But is there,
No, spring is definitely I mean, I always say like June 23rd, 22nd, somewhere around there. That's sort of when things start, at least on this side of the hill. Like the Madison's a different story because it's a tailwater. It comes out of a dam. But for the Freestone River is around the end of June. And yeah, it's lots of water. Trout are looking for opportunities to feed. Hatches are going off. Stuff is happening, and then it sort of just slowly tails off. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities in August and into the fall, but things become more technical, more it's not as easy in the fall as it is in the spring.
And are guys just not floating in the early? Is the runoff, is the water just too much when it's?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, again, Yellowstone versus Madison.
Yeah.
Yellowstone can be just huge and roily, and there's certain cubic feet per second numbers. Watch the gauges on the river, and when certain, you have clarity and you have flows, and the Yellowstone can be like scary. Some of it on the lower river where like there's a new wave this year that's about 6 feet tall below Gray Bear. And I don't know what caused it, but it seems like some gravel pushed down and then it caused like a recirculating wave that wasn't there several years ago. And this year, when the river was a little higher, it was like, I remember I was going down there on a trip and I was like, oh, I'm just going to stay safe and stay right. And when I went through on the right side, it was about 2 boats wide to get my boat down the right bank. And I looked over to the left, and the only thing I thought of was Hawaii 5-0. That's what it looked like.
Damn.
Giant wave that was like, definitely was a boat eater. And it was new. And just a shift in the bottom of the river caused a scouring effect. And maybe it was right where a piece of shelf rock was and that hadn't really, who knows, right? It just changes.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to not only are you managing expectations in the human element and the variables in the natural element, as well, and you have all the sort of fishing stuff to man. It's just crazy variables all day long, which keeps you sharp. I mean, you gotta have it together.
Yeah, you gotta know what you're doing with the fish and the boat.
The fish, the boat, and the people. Yeah.
You're always in a boat, right? At least when you're
Yeah.
taking people.
Yeah. I really don't. I feel so like, uh, I don't know, like sort of like restricted if I'm wade fishing. I feel like it's just like after you flow fish for a while, you go from spot to spot to spot to spot to spot all day long, right? Fresh, new, exciting holes. Like, and the fish move around. Sometimes they're in sort of like holding water where they may or may not be feeding, maybe a little bit deeper, slower. And then later in the day, when wind starts blowing and, hoppers start blowing in the river, they're going to move to different areas where they can access those opportunities. And, uh, when you're fishing, you have to remind yourself to, because it doesn't happen the same every day. Some days it doesn't happen, but you're like, not only are you running the variables of what you're fishing with, but you're running the variables of, I'm going to try this shallow water. And then also, so now I caught one there. I'm going to check the next one. Oh, there's one there. Right. So you're like, okay, fast, shallow. That's where they're sitting now. And they move in there versus sometimes they're holding in slow, medium, speed. It's crazy. It's just a lot.
Yeah, I guess you're just not very mobile either when you're waiting. You're pretty limited.
Mm. I mean, there's definitely times where wade fishing, you get to like slow down and really target a fish. Maybe rising fish like on the spring creeks is, a place, obviously you're not going to float the spring creeks, but it's a place where wade fishing becomes more of the correct approach for sure. And other, places where fish are rising and you need to slow down and be a little more tactical. Yeah.
So if anyone wants to go specifically fishing with you, and
Yeah.
they want to help you test your patience with human, how do they set that
No,
up?
to increase my sustainability.
Yeah.
Um, you can either contact me versus, in my stuff at troutsniper.com. Or you can contact Freestone Fly Fishing Outfitters, Greg Bricker. He's my outfitter and I run all my business through him. It's kind of the structure and the way it goes in Montana.
Does he have a website too?
He does.
Yeah.
FreestoneFlyFishingOutfitters.com.
Cool.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks,
Yeah.
John. Thanks for listening, folks. You can find the full blog post for every episode, along with key takeaways and links at mountain-mule.com. If you haven't yet, consider following the show. That one small action helps these Montana businesses get seen, grow, and thrive, and it helps this podcast keep going too. If you know a business that would be a good fit for the show, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out through the website or social. Thank you for supporting these Montana businesses. See you on the next show.